We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, and welcome to Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. I had a very interesting thing happen to me today. My guest has not yet shown up, so that means it's me. And I have to be interesting for an hour. So I'll be interesting for an hour. I want to talk to you about Mastermind, since that's the title of the show. I just came back from a three-day mastermind boot camp with Craig Duswald of Rockstar Marketing. And there were about 80 to 100 of us at the hotel, the Sheraton Hotel at LAX, where we did mastermind breakout sessions and mastermind full sessions for 3 days. It was one of the more remarkable experiences of my life. Everybody in the room had an opportunity to be in what they call the hot seat. And that is when you sit up in front of a room of 80 to 100 people, tell them your project, and they throw ideas at you, to you, for you. Some of them you'll like, some of them you won't like, some of them you'll use, some of them you won't use. But the energy in the room was phenomenal. It's the first time I've been to a workshop, and I've been taking and giving workshops since the 80s. It's the first time I've gone to a workshop of where people are actually mingling that way, where there was no selling. Everything was giving. Here, try this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea. So when I got up and started talking about my new project, which is Fit for Life After 60. And I don't know if you know of this. Some of you do, some of you don't. I was one of the nation's foremost fitness authorities in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, mostly in the 70s. Now that I'm 70, I'm writing a new book and creating a new program called Fit for Life After 60. I chose 60 because I was 68 when I had the idea. And I haven't exercised consistently since I sold my business in 1983. So I am my market. I'm out of shape and I'm overweight. And I was then 68. Now I'm 70. So I was an icon in the 70s. And so now that I am 70, I figured it's time to get back into that business and get back in shape. And it's very different at this age to get back in shape. So one of the ideas, it was funny, they said you have to what's the word I'm looking for? Chronologic. You have to have somebody following you around, watching you get back in shape. Why don't you? This was the worst thing. I wanted to. I couldn't believe this suggestion, although it was a really good suggestion. So somebody suggested that I hire someone to follow me around with a camera in my life. Like a reality show, only live in my house, following me, except into the bathroom or when I'm changing my clothes, following me around. I was mortified. I'm a very private person, and I thought, somebody following me around with a camera in my life? I don't think so. And I'm stunned as I'm staring at these, 80 some odd people, 80 to 100 people, and I don't know what to say. And so then some more suggestions came to me. And then somebody said, Suzy, rather than have somebody following you around constantly in your life, why don't you have somebody follow you at certain moments, like when you're exercising? Good idea. When you're preparing dinner? Good idea. And I thought, it was like the whole room could see me just go, oh, thank you. But it was fun. All these people there giving me ideas so I can take this project to its next level. So I'm going to create a blog, and I'll announce it on the show when I do. And I do have a fitforlifetv.com, so I'll be putting myself up there, getting back in shape. And you have to understand, getting in shape when you're in your 20s and 30s is very different than getting in shape when you're in your 60s and 70s. It's just different. And I tell people there is no gain in pain, period. I have a client who was telling me that she was working with a trainer and she's always sore afterwards. And I said, that's not okay. She said, but her trainer explained that you have to break down muscle to build it up. I said, are you planning on going in for the Olympics? And she said, no. I said, are you planning on being a competitive sports person? And she said, no. And I said, how old are you? She said, 65. I said, how old is your trainer? And she said, 30. And I said, your trainer doesn't have a clue. Not a clue. When you break down muscle at 65 and 70, you're hurting yourself. If your body says, ow, it's telling you to stop. That's what it's telling you. So I trained differently. I was a trainer you'll love this. In 1965, I was a personal trainer. And I ran a school in New York City for 18 years. In my school, I taught toddlers, I ran a gymnastics program, and I taught adults. My oldest student was 78. In the 18 years that I had my fitness school, and I taught 6 to 8 hours a day, and I had other people teaching for me also, it was a big school. We had 2 injuries in 18 years. One was the 6th week that I was in business when a woman went from a standing position to a sitting position and pulled her knee out. It was an accident. The other was in 1976 when I was running my gymnastics team. It was 7:30 at night, and one of my students did a round off, was off balance, fell and broke her elbow. Those were the only 2 accidents we had in the 18 years I had my business. No one walked around with a brace on. No one, it just wasn't, it just didn't happen. The reason was that I created a firm foundation for my students. And when you're doing mastermind work, that's what you're doing also. You're creating a firm foundation and you're getting support from the people around you. So no matter what the project was, when the person was in the hot seat, the entire room was in that person's corner. All they wanted to do was support them. There was no make wrong. There was no, yeah, you should be doing this and this. It was a, try this suggestion, try this suggestion, try this suggestion. It happened so fast that as a person in the hot seat, when I was up there, I couldn't take notes because they were coming at me so fast. So I had a friend of mine take notes for me. Tonight I'm having a meeting with my assistant to go over those notes so that we can see in what order we want to move our new endeavor. Now, I'm a coach and a hypnotherapist and soon to reclaim fitness expert, although it'll take me a little while. And it's very important that the people that I work with are honored and know that nobody is wrong or broken. Everybody is doing the best they can. That is everybody. So in knowing that you're doing the best you can right now, think about the areas in your life where you could use some support. And then ask for it. But ask the person who's not going to tear you down because you're asking for that support, but who's going to build you up in asking for that support. So I call myself, and a lot of people call me the mind mentor. When Shelley Hunt did her reality show, Remake My Life, I was the mind mentor on that show. What that meant was there were lots of different teachers that came in to teach these various women who were remaking their life. Some of them had come right out of shelters and were remaking their lives. We had a wonderful time. We did all kinds of crazy stuff to build a different sense of self in the participants. But sometimes it got really tough. And people were faced with a lot of inner turmoil. It was my job to keep them from flipping out. And they said as long as I was in the room, they knew they were safe. Because I could take a person who was in distress internally and because I'm a hypnotherapist, guide them to a place of self-comfort. And so when you're working with somebody, and I do believe in the coach, I have 4 coaches right now. I have a coach who helps me making more money. I have a coach, actually I have 2 of those. I have a coach who is working with me with sales, scripting. I have a coach who is going to teach me how to better sell from the front of the room. In other words, when I give a speech, my focus is on delivering information, not on selling product. And whereas I don't want to change my focus, I do want to sell product. So I've hired a coach to help me do that. And so think about an area in your life where you need some coaching, some help. And then seriously find somebody to help you do it. You can call me and I'll give you a free half-hour consultation, 310-640-8885. That's 310-640-8885. And talk to Donna or Carol and set up a free half hour with me. We'll find out what area of your life you need coaching in. A client called me today. This was so wonderful. She started with me, I think 2 weeks ago. She's a lawyer and is doing very, very well and has a phenomenal practice, specializing in helping people who have licenses to maintain their license. Because if you're a contractor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're not a hypnotherapist, we don't need licenses, we need certifications. Chiropractor, you need a license to practice. And very often you get in trouble because you don't keep your license up to date or whatever. This is her specialty. So I told her flat off, I said, you're not charging enough. And she said, really? I said, no, you have to charge more. And I told her what to charge. So she was doing a sales pitch to a potential client last week. And she originally, when she wrote up the contract, she wrote her old price. She called me to tell me that she woke up in the middle of the night, put my suggested price in, and then brought it to the potential client who had no trouble saying yes and hired her. The next day, she was talking to another potential client whom she had looked up on the internet and learned that his license was in trouble. So she sold him 2 programs at my price because she realized now all of a sudden she just jumped from one price to another price literally in 48 hours. And so she said, and I said, get comfortable. I'll give you from now until the end of December, and then I'm going to give you a new price. And what'll happen is the quality of her clientele will change because her pricing is changing. The quality of my clientele has changed because my pricing has changed. It's very different working with somebody who doesn't have any money than working with somebody who does. And if I tell you, I'm paying one of my coaches $25,000 to help me. That's in a 1-year program. What does that say about how I think of him? And what does that think of how I think of me? So in paying him the $25,000, which I'm paying over time, I'm holding myself accountable for that money. It must mean that I believe that I can do it. And when I was talking to him at our meeting the first time, I said, I will do this. He said, that's why I'm letting you do it the way you're doing it, because I know you will. And I've already surpassed where I thought I would be at this time. So you have to really look at when you hear pricing, and never again say, I can't afford it. It may not be in your budget today. But once you say, I can't afford it, you're telling the universe you can't afford it. And you always get to be right. So I always ask my clients, what do you want to be right about? You can be right about anything you want, anything. You can be right about, I can't afford it, or, well, let's see how I can make that happen. If you say, let's see how I can make that happen, your mind will automatically go into, let's see how I can make that happen. And you'll start to make it happen. Now, we're going to take a break in a minute. If you have questions for me, what's the number here? It's right over there. 323.
Actually, it's 323-471-3100.
323
471-3100.
323-471-3100. If you have any questions for me, please call me 323-471-3100. Ask me those questions. Let's see how we can mastermind and help you get to the next level.
Wait, I feel silly now. It's actually 323-473-3100. 323-473-3100. It's a new number.
What's the new number?
It's a new number.
323-473-3100. And we're not wrong and we're not broken. We just got confused. 323-473-3100. I'm Suzy Prudden. This is Mastermind Live on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, welcome back to Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. And as I mentioned to you at the beginning of the show, my guest seems to be somewhere in the black hole of reality or non-reality. She hasn't arrived yet. And that's too bad, because I was looking forward to this interview, so we'll have to reschedule her for another time. So it's just me. And talking to you about masterminding, because I just came back from an amazing 3-day experience, Craig Duswell's Rockstar Marketing Boot Camp. He has a mastermind group that meets 3 times a year for 3 days. And we met at 8 o'clock in the morning. We finished at 5 o'clock. We had a quick 1-hour break at lunch, and I think 2 15-minute breaks in the middle of the day. And then we had breakout sessions with several members of the group, learning different aspects of business. And I chose to work on-camera work. I chose, there was one woman doing how to do radio. And I wanted to see what she had to say about it, so I visited her. My favorite was how to do a blog. And so I'm going to put up a blog for my new business, which is Fit for Life After 60. And I'm in a trademark battle with Fit for Life. I bought the trademark Fit for Life in 1978 or 79 When Harvey and Marilyn Diamond wrote the book Fit for Life, they actually had to license the title from me. And then I licensed it again to another company who sold their company to somebody else who decided not to pay me. So I've already sued and won once, and he hasn't paid me, and now I'm in the middle of another trademark battle. And I say this because I'm not upset about it. It's just a happening, it's just okay. My lawyer said, do you want him to cease and desist? I said, no, just pay me to use the title that I created in the 70s. And so I'm reclaiming fitness, and it's probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done. And people would say, well, why is that? I don't have a clue. I just know that I don't want to exercise. I was brought up exercising. My mother was the foremost fitness expert in the United States. She helped start the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports in 1956. And in the early 50s, when the Today Show was live, it was in New York, and it was 1954, and we had to do two shows, one at 5 o'clock in the morning that would air at 9, and one at 7 o'clock in the morning that would air at 9 Pacific Coast time, because they didn't have the capability of doing it just once and then having it air at the different times. That was with Dave Garroway, and I was a guest with my mother quite often on that show. I guess I started my career in the media in the 50s. A lot of the people that I talk to today weren't even born in the 50s. And I'll tell you a funny story. I think it's a funny story. It has nothing to do with anything except that it's a funny story. I was with my son and daughter-in-law and two friends of theirs in New York probably 15 years ago. And my daughter-in-law was a celebrity, had her own talk show. She was meeting, she's no longer my daughter-in-law. She was then. She's my ex-daughter-in-law. She's still the mother of my grandchildren. We went to a theater where friends of hers were putting on a production. And I'm standing in this theater, and all of a sudden I get deja vu. I've been here before. I didn't know, and I just knew I'd been there. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, and I said, I've been here. It was in Greenwich Village, Circle in the Round, and I was there in 1957 to see Arthur Miller's The Crucible. And I mentioned it to my son, my then daughter-in-law, and their two friends, that I had been in that theater in 1957 watching Arthur Miller's The Crucible. And they looked at me. None of them had been born in 1957. It was a very funny experience. And again, it has nothing to do with anything, except that it came to my mind. And so I thought I'd tell that story. So let's talk about the mind, because that is my specialty. And the reason I went into the mind field, and it is a mind field, is because it's so fascinating. It's so vast and so, so powerful. So when you're in a mastermind group, what you're doing is taking in suggestions that you can then think about and utilize in a way that will help you expand, grow, do whatever it is, whether it's personally, financially, in your business, but you want to constantly be moving forward. So you want to monitor your mind and think about what you think about, and think about how you think about it when you think about it, because everything that goes on in your mind is automatically registered, in a sense, in the universe. You don't end here. You are very, very vast in your energy. And thoughts create, period. So whenever you're thinking life is hard, you're going to get to be right. If you think I don't have enough, you're going to get to be right. If you think I can't do this, you're going to get to be right. Whether you can or you can't, whichever you're thinking, you're going to get to be right. And it's a practice. It doesn't just happen, shift, boom, there you are with a new mindset. You have to practice your mindset. If you want to be happy, life is going to throw you curveballs, which are going to knock you down. You don't have to stay down. Oh, I have a wonderful story for you. Now, I was very, very successful in the fitness industry in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I sold my business in 83, and I literally unplugged. I walked away at the height of my career. And in 1989, my sister and I Hay House published my book, Meta Fitness, Your Thoughts Taking Shape. And it was a metaphysical book on the body called Meta Fitness. Because I realized that what you think about your body, you manifest in your body, and your body also manifests and lets you know if something's not right in your life. Each part of the body represents a different aspect of your life. And so I wrote this book, and I went on a national tour, and it did quite well. And then I did the Oprah show. That's a very heady experience. The whole hour was about me and my book and the power of the mind. And I did not know how to handle the aftermath, so to speak, because there is an aftermath after you do Oprah. I didn't have a team at the time like I do now. And 8 months after Oprah, I ended up homeless. Now, that's a scary experience, but it taught me so, so much. And it taught me how to practice being okay no matter where I was. And finding people to create, and at that time I didn't know it was a mastermind, but opportunities to say, okay, where am I going to take my life now? Because it's completely upside down. And I remember leaving my home, putting everything in storage. I didn't sleep in my car. I had lots of wonderful places to stay. But it was scary because I really didn't have a job. I didn't know I had any skills. I didn't want to teach exercise. I didn't want to at all. People said, you did so well. Why don't you teach exercise? I don't want to teach exercise. And I didn't want to teach exercise. I did go to Rancho La Puerta, and I did teach exercise there, but only for like an hour or two a day. And I guest lectured there every day, which was really fun. And I got to stay there, which was great because I had no place else to go. But it taught me a lot about the mind and where I put my focus. I could have put my focus on, oh, poor me. I'm homeless, and therefore... Now, it was embarrassing, though, because here I am, this famous person who's homeless. Here I am, this person who was a celebrity, and I'm homeless. Here I am, this person who was very, very rich, and I'm homeless. So it was shaming. I was very shamed. And talk about humbling. I was very humbled. And I really look at it as one of the greatest gifts that I received, because from that experience, I'm able to do the work I do with people who are losing everything. And I say, yes, there's life after losing your house. Yes, there's life after losing your money. Yes, there's life after losing your relationships. Yes, there's life after losing everything. But the only way you're going to reclaim that life is to reclaim it. And it's not about saying, please, somebody give me my life back. It's about saying, okay, what do I have to do to get my life back? So I started asking questions of my higher self. What do I have to do to make money today? Because I had to make money. And I'll give you a process that I use. I take a question that I have, and I write the question with my dominant hand, my right hand. Then I switch a pen into my non-dominant hand, and I write the answer. The answer always comes from my subconscious mind. If I follow the answer, I usually get to where I want to go. Now, a lot of people tell me that they're frightened. They're frightened of this, that, and the other thing, and fear runs them. So if you who are listening and watching me are thinking, let me ask you, what are you afraid of? And you'll come up with an answer. And so I had a great deal of fear when I was running my last company. I had a company called Positive Changes Hypnosis. It was a franchise. And at one time I had 4 offices here in Los Angeles. I had to take in $40,000 to $50,000 a month to break even as a hypnotherapist. That's a lot of money. And I was always in a state of terror because I had taxes to pay, I had advertising to pay, I had employees to pay, I had myself to pay. I had my rent to pay. I had all these expenses, and I had to constantly bring people in. And it was always barely enough sometimes, not enough sometimes, a little bit more, but I never got ahead. And I was walking around literally shaking most of the time, scared, working 6-7 days a week. And one day I said, I can't do this anymore. So I sat down at my kitchen table and I took my pen and I decided to write fear. And that may seem totally crazy. So what? So I'm writing fear. Dear fear, I love you. I created you to scare me, and you're doing a brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant job. So I want to give you a promotion. I want to give you the job of empowering me. Is that okay with you? And then, now you have to notice what I did. I didn't make fear wrong for scaring me. I made fear right for scaring me because I created fear in my own mind. I created fear to Donna just walked in and she's been told that she's going to be my guest host in a moment, and I'm watching her fear. She gave it at the right moment. Keep the sunglasses, though. Keep the sunglasses. They're great. And you can be incognito. Donna is the person who helps me make my business work. So I write this letter to fear, and then I put the pen in my non-dominant hand, and I write, from fear. Dear Suzy, that's a bit scary. Hee 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 hee. And I realized that's not my voice. That's fear's voice. And then fear wrote to me and said, you have to talk to the committee. They're going to have to decide. Okay. Put the pen in my dominant hand. And I wrote, dear committee, I want to give fear the new job of empowering me. Put the pen in my non-dominant hand, and I could feel a whole energy shift in my body, and it was like this dowager came out. Dear Suzy, we have to discuss it. Go to the office. We'll tell you tomorrow. Okay. So I went to the office. Did my office thing next morning. Dear committee, have you made up your mind? Dear Suzy, yes, we have. And the energy was different. It's now okay for fear to have the job of empowering you. And I literally felt my fear meter go from here to here, and my empowerment meter go from here to here. And do I get scared now? I mean, now I have a new business. I lost the other one. Wasn't the end of the world. It got me to open up Suzy Prudden International, Suzy Prudden Presents, and now Fit for Life. And so because I lost that business, I'm able to do this business. And every time fear starts to get out of hand, I say, excuse me, you've got a new job title. It's my empowerer. And fear goes, oh, yeah, right, I remember. And then I feel more empowered. So if you think of an area in your life that's challenging for you, that's difficult for you, write that part of you a letter. You created it. Everything inside of you, you created. Every part of you, you created. Every part of you that you love, you created. Every part of you that you don't like, you created. And you can change whatever you want to change. But you'll have to change your mind. So all of it is in your mind. Now in business, I have a lot of clients who don't like to use the telephone. And I have, Donna, can you hand me my gold phone? It's in my purse. See, that's what, everybody needs a Donna. Everybody needs a Donna. Somebody said to me, what's a Donna? And then I pointed to her and I said, that's a Donna. So I have a gold phone. And the reason I have a gold phone is because it represents to me money. And the money's in the phone. So I tell my clients, because I have a lot of entrepreneurial clients that come to me to help them in their business because they have procrastination issues, they have self-sabotage issues, and a lot of it, they have sales issues. They don't like to sell. So I teach people how to sell. That's when my client from earlier, that I talked to you about earlier, called me to tell me that she followed my advice, increased her sales exactly to the amount that I told her to from the amount she was charging, and she's had 100% success. And now I'm letting her stay there for another 2.5 months or 1.5 months till the end of December, because in January, I'm going to have her raise her prices again. And so I'm getting her comfortable with charging more, and at the same time, I'm getting more comfortable charging more and paying more, and so can you. And if you don't like to do the follow-up and the follow-through, don't be in business. If you don't like to make phone calls, don't be in business. How many of you get a zillion emails a day? And you don't have time to read them all. And if you do read them all, you're wasting your time. So it's really about what has to shift inside of you, finding a way to do it, and then following up and doing it. And if you want some extra help, give me a call at 323-473-3100. That's 323. No, that's the number here. Call me here now. 323-473-3100. And if you want to call my office, call 310-640-8885. Talk to Donna, and she'll set up an appointment so that you can have a free half-hour consultation. So I'm having a wonderful time doing this by myself. I'm Suzy Prudden. This is Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. We'll be back in a moment, so stay tuned.
Hello, this is Angela DeJoseph. Join me Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific for the Angela DeJoseph Show. Join me as we venture into health, wealth. We're going to give you news, interviews, and entertainment. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, TiVo Radio, and now live on Facebook. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Lewis Logan, inviting you to join me every Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon for Faith on the Front Line. We don't just talk about it, we are about it. That's our motto. Don't just talk about it, be about it. We highlight the issues and challenges that we face today and how faith communities and leaders make a difference. So don't forget to tune in to Faith on the Front Line, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, and watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Attend the Las Vegas Congress of Anti-Aging Medicine, and you'll be amazed about the many presentations in anti-aging, stem cells, regeneration, disease treatments, facial rejuvenation, and anti-aging lifestyle. One key area would be the use of a new deer antler extract that can be replaced instead of human growth hormone, much less expensive. And hundreds of exhibitors with new modalities in facial rejuvenation, hair growth, body shaping, weight management, and anti-aging nutrients. Check it out at worldhealth.net.
Joshua Lane.
Talking to you, and you'll be talking to me. Yes, okay. Hi, I'm Suzy Prudden, and welcome back to Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. And I've been winging it for the last 40 minutes, having a very good time, and now I've been saved by my Donna. So my Donna is here, not on camera, and I've asked her to talk to me.
I wasn't ready for this.
No, she wasn't ready for this at all. And yes, really, truly, you know, I'm real comfortable in front of a camera. I think I was born to be in front of a camera or to be on radio and to do what I just did. It's so comfortable. I used to say that being on live television was the safest place in the world because you're in the moment. There is no other moment, but you have to be ready for it. And a lot of people freeze up. So Donna, I know, is okay on radio, but she just wasn't ready for the camera. And so here's an important lesson. for everybody. If you're not ready for something, don't make yourself do it. Work to the place where you can do it from where you are and make yourself feel okay with it, because you don't want to feel badly doing something that you could also feel great doing. So Donna, one of the I said to, when we were talking just a minute ago, I asked you to ask me, what are some of the things that people call us about? Because I sometimes forget.
Well, one of the things that I see that comes up with our clients is organization. And it's not even so much, how do I organize my stuff, but how do I organize my day? I used to work for XYZ, and they told me I had to do this, this, and this within an 8-hour period. And now they're working from home, or they're trying to schedule appointments to go out and see other clients themselves, and they don't know how to do that.
Excellent question. Oh, well, I can tell you how I do my day. I leave it to Donna.
There you go.
No, actually, I do have a system. And originally, we had decided, because Mondays was my radio day, that I would take Monday mornings and use that to write my book. But we got so busy this fall that I've had to let go of my Mondays for writing and schedule clients. And the only thing that I have a challenge with, and Donna and I were talking about this earlier, is scheduling time not only for my clients, but also to do the paperwork that has to be done. So really, you have to schedule time for you in your schedule, which means that I will schedule a 2-hour period in my day that's specifically paperwork, period. And I tell my clients, I ask them, what do you do first thing? And most of them say email. I say, don't do that. Don't do email first thing in the morning. Do the important work first thing in the morning, and during your lunch hour, do email, because email begins to suck you in.
Well, and that's the other thing that you just mentioned, Suzy, is so many people don't schedule that lunch hour or breaks in the rest of their day. So they're exhausted. They've been working 8-9 hours, making calls, going out and seeing people. And then all of a sudden it's time to make dinner for their family, and they have no energy.
And not only do they have no energy, they're starving. So they eat all kinds of, this is one of my clients told me this the other day. What happens is she forgets to eat all day because she's so busy. By the time she gets home, her kids are having, kid snacks. And so she's eating all the kid snacks while she's making dinner. So she's eating a dinner before she has the dinner. And so this is one of my weight loss clients. So what does she do? And I say, you're going to have to eat during the day. And I've given her some suggestions on how she can do it. Donna gets on me because I'll very often take one of my lunch hours and schedule a client.
That's right. I do get upset with you.
So, as I said, everybody needs a Donna. So we're working on changing that. Why don't I make myself a hypnosis process?
That would be a wonderful idea, or I could do one for you, just to have a different voice in your head.
That's probably a very good idea. I'm kind of used to my own voice. Donna's also a hypnotist. And, it's absolutely, I come into the office. I'm there at 10 o'clock. I will not do 9 o'clock appointments. I'm there at 10 o'clock. I'm usually there at 10 after 10. And I'm scheduled from 10 until 6. And I look at, and I'm literally scheduled. Now, if something comes up like my mastermind group, I put it into my schedule so that when I look at my week, I see, I'm out of the office 3 days. And now I know, having been out of the office for 3 days, that I'm going to have a lot of catch up to do. So I'm probably going to have to come into the office on Saturday and do it. Do I want to? No. But is it what my business needs? Yes. And it's staying organized. So I don't get a call from the telephone company like I did today that you forgot to pay your bill. So I paid it. But I forgot because I just got too busy. I've had 2 full week conferences in the last month, plus I was out being sick for a week, which I had to close the office for a week. I've never had to do that. So I have to make it up. So I have to be organized. On the weekends, I don't have to be organized. And so some days, and you can do this too, I don't get out of bed. I wander around the house in my bathrobe, and I give myself a bathrobe day. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to take care of yourself. What are some of the other things, Donna?
Well, another thing is, and I heard you talking about this as I came in, you were writing your letter to fear. Fear is probably the thing I hear most, and it's fear of telephones, fear of dealing with people one-on-one in person,
Fear of sales.
fear of sales, fear of just the whole idea of what if I don't do it
What if I can't?
or can't.
Yeah.
Both. So there's the follow-up, the follow-through, there's the original interaction, all these fears that just keep them petrified. And so since so many people are working at home, they now find those other things to do. Well, I can vacuum instead of making a call.
I'll clean the house. Yeah, I used to do that. Now I don't clean the house at all. I absolutely, except for the kitty litter, which
has to be
done, and the dishes, which have to be done, and the kitchen counter, and occasionally I'll sweep. I do have a housekeeper who comes in. Now, it was once a month. It was when I had positive changes once a week. Then it came once every other week. Then every 3 weeks. Then every 4 weeks. And for a while, it was every 6 weeks because my finances shifted. Now, I've just asked her, and she's been once a month. Now she's coming every 3 weeks, and pretty soon I'll get back to every 2 weeks, and then back to every week. I make enough money. It's a waste of my time and a waste of your time to do that. If you're in business for yourself, hire someone to clean your house. Seriously, because you don't have time. I get $850 an hour. So what? I'm going to take it 5 hours and clean my house? That's ridiculous. That's $4,000 more.
More than that.
More than that. So
getting past that fear is what I hear the most.
Right. And again, using the letter and then trusting that you're not wrong, you're not broken, you will make mistakes. I've made several on the show already. And fear is false evidence appearing real. We make something up and then we believe it. So make something up that's like I decided one day when I was noticing my money mind that I wanted to change my money mind, and I decided to think I make money wherever I go. That was my new thought. Do you know what? I do.
Well, and the other thing that goes along with that is the absolute worst is somebody will say no, and no is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Yes.
And you just move on.
And you just move on. That's a very good point. And don't, there are people, never try to convince a client that is not your client. There were two potential clients that I talked to a week and a half ago that I knew from my free half-hour consultation would not be good clients for me, that I'd be pushing and arguing with for the whole time, and they wouldn't get from me what they needed. And so I said to them, I'm not the right person for you. So it's okay to say no to somebody who wants to be a client, who's thinking about being a client, and you know that they're not a fit. And the other thing, it's okay to say to somebody in the middle, I've done this with clients, when I hear they're in such great shape, they don't need to talk to me that day, I say, you don't need to talk to me today. They say, well, I didn't want to lose my session. I said, I'm the one making the decision. You're not going to lose the session. But let's use it when you need it, because right now you're in good shape. And in 3 months, you may need the next step. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happens. And then there's also, what else, Donna?
Well, another thing is changing the patterns and habits. I'm so used to doing it this way. How do I do it differently?
A good way to practice that, this is funny, is to tell, people have a certain way they like the toilet paper to be pulled. Some people like it over the top. Some people like it from under the bottom. So if you...
I don't care as long as it's there.
Good for you. I do.
I know you do.
I'm very, very fussy about it, but I like it so it comes in from underneath. If you have a pattern that is not serving you, I'm not talking about the toilet paper right now, but if you know you have to shift patterns, practice on small things like the toilet paper. So if you have patterns that you have to shift, don't worry about those patterns. Just go home and change your toilet paper. You're going to be stunned at how challenging that is. I used to live with someone we shared a house in Lucadia. And there was one room that was overlooking the ocean and one room in the back overlooking the pool. And every other week we would change rooms, so we both got a chance to be in the ocean view room. She liked the toilet paper over. I liked the toilet paper under. So every time we changed bathrooms, I would change the toilet paper and she would change the toilet paper. The only challenge was that she would change it back no matter where I was. No matter, she'd constantly put it over. And finally, I just went, the hell with this, excuse me. Leave it over. I don't. It's not that big an issue for her. It was a big issue. So notice your habits and patterns. Try that, and then try going to work a different way. Or, if you're in a relationship, change sides of the bed. So if you're used to sleeping on one side and your partner's on the other, shift. That's a challenge. I mean, all these things, they're fun to do. You'll notice. And call me, 310-640-8885. 310-640-8885. What?
While we're on that subject, because there's a couple of minutes left, you might also talk about that with weight loss, because food is one of the hardest things to change.
Okay. I'm going to shelve that. And I'm going to do a whole show on that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Because that's a very, very powerful subject, and a subject that is very, very needed. And just the one thing, though, drink a lot of water. Just drink a lot of water. And remember, coffee, tea, soda, milk, juice, that's not water. The only thing that's water is water, period. Not Crystal Light. Nothing in it, just plain water. Your body uses water to flush out toxins, to keep you healthy, and stay away from sugar, carbs, starches. Start to focus on protein and vegetables and fruits, not too many, and stay away from all the rest. And definitely get rid of the diet stuff. Anything that says diet on it, get rid of it, because it may not have calories, but the chemicals in it causes fat to adhere to the cells, which cause. I had a client, all he did was stop drinking Diet Coke. That's all he did. He lost 26 pounds in 6 months just by stopping the Diet Coke. So I'll do a whole show on that. And thank you for the question, Donna. I'm Suzy Prudden. My mystery guest is Donna, who helps me in my entire life.
Thank you.
She even takes care of my kitties when I go away. I'm Suzy Prudden. This is Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.
LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.